Hello, hello. Hi, Bobby. Hi. How are you? I know I don't usually come on the weekends, but I actually had someone who messaged me a while ago that they wanted to kind of swap readings, that they were a beginner medium and kind of wanted to practice, and they didn't hop on. So I was like, well, I will go on TikTok Live. And then they messaged me saying that something came up. So yeah, we'll just see how a Sunday goes on TikTok Live. How are you guys? It's been a while. I think I was on a Saturday not that long ago, but I have not been on TikTok Live all week. I don't know if you guys have saw. I've been sick all week, so I have not been on TikTok Live. I haven't been to work. My son actually got sick too, which was really sad, but he's feeling a lot better today. He's actually with dad. I need a break. If anyone else is a mom and knows how clingy a child is when they are sick, he's also a toddler, so he was like my little a koala bear this week, would not get off of me. And I soaked in all of the cuddles. I absolutely loved it. But just definitely meant that I was not going to go on live this week. So I figured maybe I'd hop on since I have this random time. I had already meditated and was ready for, a little bit of a swap. So here we are. How are you guys? Let's see. Hi everyone, slowly joining in. We'll see how Sunday turns out. I've never done a read it on a Sunday to see, how many people are on. Hi Carrie, hi Emily. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. For me, it was mostly like body aches and fever. That's the stuff like I really can't deal with. And I don't know if you could tell my voice. I just had a lot of congestion kind of stuff. But thank you, everyone. Hi, Jill. Hi, everyone joining in slowly. Once we get a decent amount of people, we'll get started. Oh, thank you. And am I saying your name right? Brayley? Such a pretty name, and I love the spelling. But I don't like saying people's names without knowing if I'm saying it right. My name is Skylar, and people will always say, because I have AR instead of ER, they call me Skylar, and I'm like, no, it's Skylar, even though it's an A. Oh, you're welcome. Oh yeah, I love the name. I love that. And is Reese your middle name too? That's so pretty. But everyone else, perfect. I literally love that. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you guys for all the likes so far. Once we have a decent amount of people, we could probably begin. And I will just do some readings and let's see how many we can get in. It actually sounds like my husband may have put my son down for a nap, so maybe we'll have a little bit longer today. Maybe. Oh, hey, Nicole. I know this was last minute going on. I didn't even send it. Hold on, let me send it to people. Let's see. Send it to you. And okay. Again, this was like pretty last minute going on live here, guys. What can I do for your stray cat? Hootie, if you were asking for like specific questions, I don't do questions only because I connect to spirit on a deeper level than that. But I always say if you have questions that you want your loved ones to answer, normally when you have a reading, they know what you want to know and that will come across during your reading. Hi Shay, thanks for the follow. I'm trying to be more mindful of the comments, guys. They just usually go way too fast for me. All right, so for those that are wanting a reading, hi, my name is Sky. If you're new here, love to see new people here. Thank you so much for stopping in. I am a psychic medium here in Pennsylvania. I work full-time, and I am a full-time mom to a almost 2-year-old. I'm gonna cry, guys. I can't believe he's already 2. He will be 2 in April. I try to go on live as much as I can. Usually, it used to be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Now I'm trying to do Tuesdays, Thursdays. Last week, though, I was down for the count. I was super sick, did not go on live. And then towards the end of the week, my son got sick. So I started feeling better, but then he got sick. And you know how it is when a baby is sick. It's not fun at all. So I was supposed to have a swap today with someone who was a beginning medium and kind of wanted to practice a little bit. Something came up, so I've had some free time, and here we are on a Sunday, and I've never done it on a Sunday. If you've never gotten a reading from me before, I do not do spirit-led. I just feel as though it takes too long to try and figure out exactly who it's for, and there's too many postcards, especially on like a live like this. In a gallery setting where there was a lot fewer people, it's a little easier to figure out who we're connected to. On live, it just is a little bit of a little chaos, to be honest. So I kind of through live decided to do I kind of just see who spirit draws me towards. So I will ask you guys to comment just the relationship of the person that you want to speak to. Don't put any other details in the chat. Don't put their name, don't put your their story or anything like that. Just the relationship of a person that you want to speak to. And this way, whoever spirit draws me towards is who we will go with. And let's see what else. Don't put your details in the chat, not only for that, but also, apparently a lot of scammers can go on and try to message you and be like, oh, your Uncle Bob came to me last night and wants to give you a message, book with me now, kind of a thing. And, so for your own safety, go ahead and not put any details in the chat. It's also a disservice to you if those kind of details you put in the chat are something that spirit was going to say during your reading. Don't mind the hot mess express of me today. Again, I was not planning on going live, but got the time, so why not? Alright, guys. And keep commenting as many times of the relationship that you want to speak to. It doesn't annoy me. If anything, it makes it better because I can keep seeing your names repeat over and over. And then that kind of helps spirit gravitate me towards someone who really needs a reading right now. As long as TikTok allows you to. Sometimes people say that TikTok like maxes you out on the amount of comments. Hey, Christy Payton, realtor. Who wants to talk to mom? Perfect. How are you today? Now, did you want to stay in the chat, or did you want to go in the little guest box so you can kind of just talk? Up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. Whatever you prefer. Oh. No. Chat, please. It's loud here. Absolutely. That's totally fine. Perfect. And it looks like I do have a mod in here. I'm guessing it's Nicole, who is kind of pinning your comments. Just to let you know, sometimes TikTok, if you're saying a certain flag word, won't show your comments on here for some reason. So if you think that I'm constantly asking you the same question over and over because I'm not getting an answer, it's most likely that your comments being filtered. Just let me know and be like, hey, I am commenting, we're just not seeing it. And sometimes play around with maybe some of the words that you chose to say in the chat. But okay, I'm going to try and connect to mom. give me a few seconds to try and see if I can connect. And once I have a little bit of amount of evidence, I will let you know, and then we'll see if we're with mom or not, okay? Everyone else who's in the chat, thank you for watching. Thank you for sending all your likes, follows, all of that. I really appreciate it. I love all the love that you guys give on these lives. Okay. Okay. So I do have a female here. She seems like she's such a light. She just has like this very light, free spirit kind of energy. She kind of like really gives me as someone who like really enjoys life, or tries to enjoy life the best as she can. She also was talking about like the outdoors, so I feel as though this is someone who also enjoyed like the outdoors, like even in more like warmer kind of weather. It's so weird because the second that I brought her forward, I don't know if this is her in general, or if it's just like her mannerisms, but like she kind of just came forward to me as like this girl who was even like wearing like flip-flops and would be totally cool to either do whatever it is, like either go shopping, go to the beach, go do something. But it just seemed like she was always like into like hanging out, doing things, and she just seems like she doesn't even want to talk about any of the bad things. But she really like is just like a light, like free spirit person. I also feel as though when it came to her passing, I don't know if there's a question for it, but I do feel as though I need to say that first, that she kind of talks about how she wasn't a type of person who liked dark stuff. She didn't like dark times. She kind of liked to look beyond that. And it's almost as if like after her passing and her going to the other side, like it was the biggest peace and like weight lifted off her shoulders. She was like, it was almost like she was like free again. And I feel as though she wants to talk about all the positive stuff. She doesn't like talking about the negatives. And it was almost as if someone had that question as to if she's okay, if she's at peace and on the other side. And she wants to start the reading like that. And they don't usually start that. Usually towards the end is when questions come about, but it's almost as if like it's this big thing. Like I do feel as though it's a big heavy weight on your shoulders. I do feel as though there's something that's weighing very heavily on your heart for how she is on the other side. And she's like immediately like, no, like things are positive. She was like such a strong-willed person, but I feel as though it's almost like I don't think that she necessarily really felt like it was going to happen. It was kind of like a shock to the system almost. I do feel as though she talks about she doesn't talk about her passing directly, which is kind of strange, but she is saying things around her passing. And I almost feel as though this is her personality. She doesn't like talking about it. But she is showing me, she just gives me a really sense of like warmth and like a sweaty type feeling. She's also showing me like it wouldn't necessarily be a headache. I'm not feeling pain in the head, but I am feeling a big amount of like pressure on like my head and like my neck area. So I don't know if this pertains to her passing, or maybe this is just one of the symptoms of the things that she was dealing with during her passing or towards the end. But it almost feels as though a big thing of like denial, like still a big shock. I don't know if this makes sense. I've been talking a lot and haven't even checked like your comments. I think I seen you say yes once to her personality. She also showed some strange things as well, but as long I want to see if you think it's with mom first. Her personality. Okay. So there's some really weird things she showed. She really did show like flip-flops. I don't know if flip-flops pertain to her, but she did show like a big fierce spirit like flip-flops. She showed me like random things too. I don't know if she pertains to like being around like the water and the beach. She was showing me fish. She was showing me like ice cream too. Specifically, like maybe even like an ice cream split kind of a thing. Like just something like big Sunday wise. It just feels as though she liked ice cream. But like she just shows me like even like this long, like when she came forward, she was wearing flip-flops. She was wearing even, I don't know what they would be, but they were like, it's nice long flowy like kind of like you wear on the beach. It's like those cover up kind of things and nice and long, and it's just like very loose fitting, very common type of person. She had a major sweet tooth. Okay. And it just feels like she just wanted to enjoy life. And I do feel as though she passed before her time was up. So I do feel as though she was on the younger side. I feel as though she wasn't like, you know, past of like old age. I do feel as though it feels as though she took care of herself health-wise. It looks like, you know, she it does feel as though she did take care of herself health-wise. I do think that there were some things she may have been predisposed to, or things that like were like kind of beyond her control, health-wise. But I do feel as though, okay, so she's still bringing up the same thing. So would there be something pertaining to her, to where like she didn't really like talking about maybe some negative things that were happening to her health-wise that would lead her to her passing, or just didn't like talking about negative things in general? It just seems as though like someone tries to bring up something negative and it's like she wants to bring up something positive. Okay, yeah. And I feel as though, I don't think she even just hid it from you. I feel as though she hid it from most people. I think she didn't want, she's kind of talking about how like she didn't want the sympathy of people, and she didn't want her whole life to be surrounded around her health, if that makes sense. Almost as if like the second that she tells people something's going on with her, she's automatically not only a patient to doctors, but she's a patient to everyone around her. She just gets like the sorrow feelings and people feeling sorry for her, and she didn't like that. Okay. And I think she was, like I said earlier, it just seemed like she was like in denial, and I feel as though this, even up to the point of her passing, she just kind of was in denial. It was kind of like, well, I can't change that kind of stuff, so why sit there and dwell about it? Why sit there and talk about it? Let's go do this. Let's go take a trip. Let's go, do all the fun, positive stuff. And it's almost as if like her denial carried on to like, even when there was like, okay, like you wanted to, you cannot even deny this anymore, and it was just like she just didn't want to do that. And it was like, I feel as though that was big frustrations too with the people around her, and she apologizes for that, and I think she didn't really truly realize that she was affecting people the way she was towards the end with the whole like, I feel like it was hard for people to sit there and be like, I'm trying to support her, but I don't agree with her, if that makes sense. Yeah, and it just feels as though she was always like that with health. Even like, I feel as though she's talking about in general, like, she always cared more about the people around her than herself, and she didn't want to see herself as a burden to people. And I feel as though she had a big sense of pride in that. I feel as though she didn't like the thought of not only aging. I feel as though she was just like a denial when it came to her age. She's like, what do you mean I'm in my, like, at this time, I don't know her age, but she's just like, what do you mean I'm 40? I'm only 21. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I'm forever young kind of a person. But on top of it, she also just had the biggest fear of not having control of her body, if that makes sense, and like not having her independence. Oh yeah. And it's almost as if, because I feel as though she talks about how like people even used to comment on her age, like, oh, you look so good for your age, and you're such a good young spirit, young spring chicken kind of person. But it just was like, to a point, you can keep that facade. Oh, it's funny, mom. Like, yeah, you look younger than me, mom. Like, you look great. But then it comes to a point to where like reality sits in, and it's almost like the people around her like wished that she would see that reality a little bit. And it was just like she still till the very end like just was complete denial. And I feel like she's apologizing for the frustrations that may have caused as well. And it was almost like it was just really hard to have serious conversations with her. And tonight, yeah. It just really felt like it was like hard to have certain conversations with her. And I feel as though there's a lot of guilt around, maybe about, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though there's a lot of anger towards not being able to kind of prepare yourself as long as you could have prepared yourself if she had been open, honest about her health. Because if she had, it was kind of like you have thoughts that if she was open and honest about her thoughts, that you would have had more time to prepare for her passing, or you would have maybe even done things to see if there was anything you guys could do about her passing. But it's almost as if she's kind of talking about whether there was anything you guys could have done, or if she was nice and open about it to everyone around her, she still would have wanted to go the same way, in the sense to where she didn't want to live a life to where her whole day was consumed of medical personnel. It's almost as if she didn't want to sit there and be constantly having doctor's appointments and going and doing this. Like, she liked living in denial, only because it was more so like, I'm going to be the type of person who would have like a whole bucket list, and I'm going to live my life to the fullest no matter what, fate awaits me, kind of a thing. And I think a real big part of that has to do with, because of how her point of view of life. Her point of view of life was that she was this young person. Young people don't get these kind of diagnoses and stuff like that, and I feel as though as much as it was a really good positive thing to her to be so positive, I feel as though there are still cons, and the cons really had to do with the people that were around her, who had to take care of her, who, it was kind of nerve-wracking not knowing how she was truly feeling, because she was so secretive when it came to her feelings and how she was feeling and stuff like that. But she had such a love for life. She had such a love for you. I almost feel as though there's a big thing, like, you are more mature than your mother is. It's almost like you had to be like, it was kind of like you felt like you were the mom sometimes versus her. It's like you had a maturity side to her that she didn't have. Yeah. And she kind of talks about this, and it's almost as if she would be totally fine with you telling people you were the mom versus her. Or she kind of sees, like, she kind of tells people, like, don't I look more like her sister, if that makes sense? There's something with, like, sister, or acting like sisters, or people talking about, like, you guys are sisters. People used to tell me that, yeah. And it's almost like those comments, they drove her. She lived for those kind of comments, because I do feel as though she cared a lot about how she looked and how young she looked, and how, she's super funny though. But I feel as though, like, she's talking about how, like, it would irritate people. Oh, 100%. And I feel as though she was kind of sort of that, like, cool mom, in a sense to where it was someone that you can openly talk to. And I feel as though she's talking about how there's things that you talk to her that most kids don't talk to their parents about. And it was just because you guys had a nice open relationship in that way. She's also talking about, in general, I don't know if this pertains to you. I don't know if this pertains more to your younger years. I feel as though she's talking about how, maybe it's you or a sibling, but I do feel as though it's more you. Was someone more of, like, kind of not as girly as mom was, and mom kind of pushed girliness onto one, because I feel as though she's showing me, like, someone getting annoyed with, like, getting hair done, nails done, all those kinds of things, but mom was so into that and wanted that, like, daughter's kind of stuff, and it was just, like, it took a while to even get you onto those kind of things, or as you got older, you got a little more girly. Okay, because she's talking about someone with, like, a tomboyish kind of a thing. But it's more like pushing, like, oh, well, we're gonna go and do this anyway, or come on, it'll be nice, you get your nails done, and it's just like the tomboy in someone's just like, ew, no, I don't want to get my nails done, I don't want to go do this, I want to do that, like, and it's more so, like, instead of just accepting that they are that way, it's more so, like, literally trying so hard to get them into girly things, wearing a dress and looking like, your daughter, okay. She has sister-like information. Oh, yeah. My daughter would do it for her, but he did it, yeah. And it's so funny because it feels as though, is your daughter into sports? Because she keeps saying the word sports. she's not showing me an image. She's actually, it's more like I hear sports or into sports or doing sports. I do feel as though it's participation in some sort, because I am seeing like, now I'm starting to see like either trophies of some sort, or something on like a mantle or like a shelf. She never missing it. Okay, yeah, because I'm seeing kind of like trophy, like statue type trophies on like a shelf. And she said sports. So she's moving on to the Suns. Yeah, no, Jeffrey, we're not doing that. Okay, I don't even know how to remove his comment, to be honest. I don't know. Sorry. My kids were her life, yeah. And it's almost as if she had a different relationship with your kids versus what she had with you. And I feel as though with you, she had such like a good, close relationship, but it was more like, I don't know, like she would bond and like be friends with you kind of a thing. And I feel as though when it came to your kids, she kind of saw more of like a maternal side of that. It was like a whole different like ball game for her, in the sense to where it was like she had to find her place as like grandmom. But like, again, like she's so funny. She's talking about like how she's just like, does she have a different name too? Almost as if like she does not like being called grandma. It's almost like she would have some other name that was close to a grandmother, but not because she didn't want to be known as like the older, like, I can't be a grandmom yet, if that makes sense. I feel as though it's maybe like a Mimi or some type of name, something drawn towards the name. Gummy. I've never heard Gummy before. That's cute. Is someone's birthday? She showed me a cupcake with a candle. Usually that shows me that someone's birthday is either just passed, something within the like a month or so. Like either there's a birthday currently going on now, coming up, or had just shortly passed. So there's a birthday somewhere in the vicinity, and she's showing a cupcake with a candle. Oh, I'm so sorry. She died the day of her birthday, and we had a cupcake with a candle for her. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful. It's crazy, because even with loved ones of mine and loved ones I've heard of, just from, readings in general, for some reason, a lot of people pass around the time of their birthday. And it's like one of the craziest things. That's so sweet that you guys that she's bringing that up. That's super sweet that she's bringing that up. And it's weird, because I don't usually get that. It's like a cupcake and I literally wrote cupcake with candle. I don't know if you see it. Don't mind my writing, guys. Now, who's the shopper? Is she a shopper? Kind of like she, someone's spending like money that maybe they don't even have, but just like someone's like a shopper in general, or just likes, like, it's almost as if like, oh well, I have something coming up, I have to go shopping for it. And it's like, you have like a whole closet full of clothes that you could wear. Why do you need to go shopping for it? And it's almost like if there's occasion, she's going to go shopping for it. Anything comes up, she's going to go shopping for it. Something happened in the family negative, she's got to go shopping. It's like shopping was like her go-to for anything. Like, Happy, sad, occasion, anything, it was shopping. And she just showed me shopping bags. And it's kind of like she's showing me that she actually even had things that she bought and she never actually even wore. It's almost like I could go in her closet at one point and there would be things with tags on them and she didn't even wear them yet. It's like she didn't even know what she had at that point. And she's kind of saying like a hoarder for clothes, a hoarder for shopping. And it's like, it was on clearance, she was buying it. That's funny. I am anti-shopper. Shoppers hate to see me because I would rather go do something else. I'd rather not be shopping. That's so funny. And she's literally showing me, like, if you looked in her closet, there would be things that she might not even worn. They would still have tags on them. Now she's also talking to me about, like, did she also change, like, styles, not pertaining to clothes, but, like, did she constantly change things around, like, even in her home? It's almost as if, like, her style would change a lot, or, like, she would have, like, some type of decor, and then she would want to change it again, and it's just, like, a never-ending, like, late nights, too, right? Online shopping gets you when it's late at night, and it's like, oh, my sister always says that, like, she'll go and shop for things, and she won't even realize she bought things until the next day, and she's like, shit. I was scared to online shop for the longest time. When Amazon first came out, I was too scared to, like, put my card information on an app to where I could just order things. Not like that anymore. I live through Amazon now. But that's because I hate shopping, so online was the best for me since I didn't have to go anywhere and go and do it. But no, she's literally showing, like, something about her decor of her home constantly changing. Like, it's almost like she would even rearrange furniture kind of a thing. It just seems like she was always busy doing something. I feel as though she wasn't a person who would like to lay around and sit on the couch all day, lay in bed all day. Like, it just always seems like she's doing something. She had so much energy, so much love for life in general. And I feel as though she was also the type of person who would be like up and at 'em, like, let's go, go. And I feel as though there was a big spiritual side to her as well. I feel as though she was very inclined spiritually, to be honest. I feel as though she would even be into stuff like this. Even like witchy vibe kind of things. I'm not sure. She just keeps showing me like stars. And I feel as though she was open to a lot of things. She was such like a beautiful person. She seems like so fun to be around. It feels as though like people even gravitate towards her energy, and I feel as though her energy actually bleeds into the people around her, and then they also start to feel more energized when they're around her. It's almost like she had such a up and peppy energy, and then people would just go around. Let's see, she heard my grandma. Oh yeah, she was inclined spiritually. And I feel as though that's because of the big high energy she had. People who have super high energies, spirits gravitate towards people with high energy. And I feel as though she was totally not someone, like, if you sat her here and told her that you were talking to a medium, I feel as though she would be more curious than, like, skeptic, if that makes sense. I feel as though she would be totally open to stuff like that. She'd kind of be like, oh, cool, let's go see one. I don't know, she has such a beautiful energy in general. Like, she just, like, I feel like I would like to hang out with her. And I feel as though hanging out with her would actually make me feel young. Did she also have beach type kind? I know you said she likes the beach, but she is showing me things from the beach. Like, she showed me a starfish, she showed me crabs and stuff, but they kind of seem more like figurines. So did she actually keep stuff in the home, or like have like a bathroom decorated into like beach theme, or have some type of beach related things in her home? Whole house is decorated beach theme, okay. Did your daughter specifically have a hard time with her passing? Because she showed me a young girl. She showed me a lot of grief with a young girl, and I feel as though even, maybe even carrying or holding on to some of her items and her belongings to try and feel closer to her. It feels as though she might even keep some things that were from her and tries to keep them close, and often is around them or surrounds herself with them. Because she's kind of telling me, she's like, Sky, she's like, not only was she confused about, you know, like hard with like grief process in general, with like learning like, okay, your loved one's passed, like that means they're no longer here. It's kind of like it was like her passing was just like difficult for her, not only to wrap her head around death in general, you know, because sometimes it takes one big death of someone close to you to actually like open your mind up to death and like what that means, especially as a child. But also just the grief of like actually losing her, and the realization of never being able to see her again. It just feels as though she's like a big grief about that. It feels as though she's still grieving for it. I feel as though she's talking about how she has so much of her stuff, yeah. And yeah, and I just feel as though she's talking about how things will get better, which is very vague, but I feel as though in general, I feel as though within the next year, I think things will get a little better with her passing. I do feel as though she's talking about, you know, the older that your daughter gets, the more understanding she'll kind of be of her passing. And it's almost as if I feel as though as she gets older, there's going to be points in her time in life to where she's going to realize that grandmom is still there, that your mom is still there for her. And I don't know why, I think she's also going to have some sensitivity to the spiritual side as well. And I don't know if you've already kind of noticed this with her. But I think it's because she also has a very high energy herself in being like a very positive person. Oh yeah. And I feel as though the older she gets, the more that I think she's gonna kind of realize this a little bit and just have that comfort that, okay, she is with me kind of a thing. And I don't know if she talks about dreams in general, but I do feel as though that she gets visitations in her dreams as well, whether she remembers them or not. And I think that the older she gets, the more clarity she will have with her passing. Let me see if mom has any other messages, because I do feel that she's starting to pull apart, which just means that their energy is starting to kind of weaken and it kind of lessens the connection. But I'm going to see if she has some sort of message to give you guys. I feel as though, are you very stressed and overwhelmed right now? I know that's vague, but I do feel as though right now you have a lot on your plate, and she's talking about this. And I feel as though if she was there in person, you already know what kind of pep talk she would be giving you. And it's almost as if she would be the person who kind of, I feel so you would kind of roll your eyes to her advice, to be honest, because it's almost as if her advice would basically be like, oh, well, screw all your responsibilities. Just go and do something fun. Go do this. And it's just like, well, Mom, what kind of advice is that? That's not going to help me. I can't just, pretend my problems aren't my problems. They're still going to be my problems tomorrow. And I feel as though she's kind of talking about, but remember, your problems will still be tomorrow. So remember to enjoy life while you can. And I feel as though the maturity side of your, like the responsible, mature side of you is just like rolling your eyes like, okay, Mom, like doesn't really help, but thanks anyway. But I still feel as though she would still crack a smile out of you though. To where it's like, okay, well, at least I still made you smile. You know what I mean? And I feel as though she's kind of talking about in general how she knows that you know that you always get through things. To where it's like you always go through things anyway. Things always get handled. Life always finds a way to handle themselves. But to remember not to let it drown you, in a sense to where she's talking about don't let all of your problems kind of consume you, and to take breaks. It's like your problems are all going to still be there tomorrow. Take breaks, kind of take breathers, try and, enjoy things while you can. But also I feel as though she's talking about you taking on too much. And I feel as though you take on too much. Yeah, and exactly. And I feel as though she's talking about how you take on so much and you're such a people pleaser, and I feel like you say yes to everything around you, and it's because you feel as though you have to say yes to everyone around you. You have to say, yes, I'll do this, and you overcommit yourself to so many things, to then you get to these points to where you're so overwhelmed and you're so stressed and you got so much going on. And then I feel as though on top of all these things you have planned around you, then life in general things will come up, like a broken pipe or something in the household, something's broken, needs to be fixed. And then it's like you look at the financial hurdles and it just feels like you have so many things that are like surrounding you that just are like kind of dropping like dominoes. And she's like, this isn't the first time this has happened. It happens all the time. And it's almost as if she's talking about, you're going to get back up out of it. You have the, you have the means to get through it. She's talking about how strong you are of a person. But she's talking about no matter how strong you are, you have to remember you're human, and it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to want to take a pillow and scream into it. It's okay to want to go and drive away and go on a silent drive by yourself and scream your head off. It's okay to do these things. You're only human. And I feel as though she's like, you have to keep remembering, like, sometimes a simple life is what's going to make you have the happy life. So I feel as though she's talking about maybe taking a step back and not overexerting yourself with plans, overexerting yourself with so many different things you got going on. It's almost as if, like, why are you going to plan all of these different things and then you're not going to schedule in any time of R&R? But oh, Christy, yeah, so a lot of times people will say that even my voice and my mannerism will start feeling like them, but it's because I'm literally allowing spirit to talk through me. And how she's talking to me, like, this is her message, this is for you. And I think she says, like, you got it. You're strong, you're a strong woman. She's like, you've always been like that. She's kind of funny. She's kind of saying, like, she's like, I've told you since you were young, you're so strong, you don't even need no man. Like, I just feel like there's such a strong component to you and that you kind of take things head on. But she's like, remember, don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. So I hope that helps. And I hope that I gave you some type of clarity and got to connect to Mom once again. She has said that word for word. My husband's always said G. That's why I started laughing, because I was like, I'm pretty sure she's with him, man. But okay. But no, she was absolutely wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did. Absolutely, absolutely. I am going to leave her love and light with you. I'll even like kind of letting go of her. Like, I kind of needed her energy to come back because she actually had some really good energy. She was funny. She was a funny, funny, funny woman. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with her. No, absolutely. Thank you, Christy. If you ever want to, I do have a feedback post pinned on my profile if you want to make any type of feedback. Kind of just, not only for me to kind of, it's always fun when I get to see what people say about how my readings went, but also for other people who are kind of looking in and maybe they're looking around to see if they connect with a specific medium when they're trying to connect to loved ones. They also like to see that. Oh, thank you so much, Christy. No, I appreciate it. And thank you everyone else who's been standing by. And don't forget, Christy, I upload all of my live videos to my YT page. So if you ever want to go back and watch this, feel free, go right ahead. If you have any questions, send me an email. I will send you a picture of the notes from your reading in your direct messages as well. Absolutely, yeah. It takes a while for TikTok to download my lives, especially the longer, the worse. But it will be uploaded by today. No, absolutely. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. And thank you everyone else who sent in all the love, the likes, the shares, the follows. I appreciate it. Again, guys, if you're asking questions in the comments, I don't typically read them during a reading because I'm kind of super zoned in when I have a reading going on. If you feel like I'm ignoring you, I swear I'm not. You can feel free to message me, send me an email. My email is spiritswithsky@gmail.com. It's the same as my TikTok handle here. Send me a direct message if you want to. But when it comes to private readings, I will direct you to my email anyway, because that's how I send like my Zoom links and stuff. And I wish I could read for everyone. I really do. I enjoy being able to talk to you guys. It's fun. Oh, thank you, Christy. I don't know if you could tell. I feel like my voice actually sounds different today, too. It's the 6th season, people. 6th season. I hope everyone's trying to stay healthy here. And I do take a couple minutes in between each read, guys, to kind of collect and try to get my energy back up. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, we'll just chat for a little bit, and then I will do another reading. How do we get a reading? Thanks for asking, Sober Mom Voice. So just in a minute, when, I've collected my bearings again, I will have everyone comment the relationship of the person that they want to speak to. Just the relationship, no other details, and whoever spirit is drawn towards will get a reading. I don't do spirit-led. I feel as though they take too long for for TikTok Live, especially when there's so many people. So I kind of just do spirit direct-led, if that makes sense. But right now I'm just going to take a couple minutes to kind of get my energy back up since we just ended a reading. That reading was pretty long, to be honest. It was fun. Very, very fun. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jay Wells. So sorry for your loss. And so many of you guys have also asked me how I got into this, and I finally made a video a couple weeks ago, and that is also on my page. It's 2 parts, and it still is condensed because it is a super long story. I kind of had these abilities since I was younger, and I just put them all off for years and years and years until I couldn't do it anymore. So go ahead and watch those. But yeah, how's your guys' day going? Again, I will do another reading in a few. I just kind of wait for I just got done with a reading, so I kind of wait for my energy to kind of build back up before we go for another one. But how's everyone's days going? Where's everyone from? I'm always curious as to see where everyone is. And it's funny because when you finish a TikTok live, it kind of tells you like, oh, who's been in your reading. It's mostly females. But like, it doesn't tell you like where people are from. Oh, wow. We have a lot of different people. Okay. Let's see. Just woke up a little bit ago. What standard time are you, Brandy? For me, I'm Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Pennsylvania, so it is 2:42 p.m. And by the look of that emoji, I feel like you slept in and I'm a little jealous. South Dakota, New York. Okay, Arizona. Wow. Okay. Georgia, Utah. Listen, people, I've never been like anywhere. So there's a lot of states here that I have not even thought of being. California, we're on opposite sides of the states here. Kansas, Boston. Oh, this is fun. I should ask this more often. Minnesota. Ooh. So Marissa, I don't do questions, but I do say that readings, you'll get your questions answered. I just connect to spirit on more of a deeper level, and it takes a lot longer for me to connect with spirit in general in order for me to kind of answer questions generally. Western Maryland. Okay, so you're on the East Coast. So you're Eastern Standard Time, right? Should be. If I'm looking at my states correctly. Wow, guys. Pennsylvania, me too. Janelle, is that how you say your name? EST, yeah. Oh, so you just, I'm jealous, girlfriend. My son would never let me sleep in. How's it going? Good. Virginia here? Okay, cool. New York, I see a lot of people from New York. Wow. How is it living in New York? I always thought it'd be so fun living in New York, to be honest. Fun, but like overwhelming at the same time. What part of PA are you? So I am more towards New Jersey. Without me saying specifically my area, I am more closer to New Jersey. Kind of closer like Philadelphia. Yeah, I always forget, like, PA is pretty big. Okay, awesome, awesome. Oh, really? The Poconos? Oh, yeah. I think the Poconos is still, like, maybe an hour, maybe a little more, maybe an hour or two away from me. But, all right, guys. Well, thanks for, tell me where you guys are from. That's actually really fun. It's like a little icebreaker before we start another reading, but, if you guys would like a reading, and you're new here and you just popped in, hi, I'm Sky. I am a psychic medium from Pennsylvania, as we all just kind of told each other where we're from. I don't normally do readings on Sundays, but I had some free time kind of pop up. If you want a reading, just comment the relationship of the person that you want to speak to. You can comment as many times as TikTok allows it. Whoever I'm drawn towards or whoever spirit draws me to is who will get the reading. We did just have a reading for Christy. It was a pretty long reading. She had a wonderful mother come forward. It was a lot of fun. But we're going to see if we can get another reading in. And go ahead and comment as many times as fast as you guys can. The faster the better. Braylee, are you still here? Hey, Braylee. Okay, I think you said Grandpa? Grandpa is what popped up in my head, so I don't know if that's who wants to speak to you. Again, don't mind my untogetherness, guys. I wasn't planning on going on live. Haven't even done my hair or makeup in over a week, maybe almost 2 weeks with being sick. Really was Grandpa who you want to speak to. Also, did you want to stay in the chat? Did you want to go in the little chat box up at the top? Grandpa, okay. Either the guest box or stay in the chat, whatever you're more comfortable with. Doesn't matter to me. Some people have different, I guess, the chat piece. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So I am going to give Braylee a reading, guys. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to connect with Grandpa in a bit. Once I get enough information, I will come step forward and we will see if we're connected with Grandpa or not, okay? Okay, so I do have an older man with me here. Okay. He seems like a pretty big teddy bear. It was kind of hard to get some things out of him. I feel as though he is a man of very few words. But I feel as though to the people who he's closest with, he's more open to, if that makes sense. It's almost as if you're close to him, he, you can have like good conversations with him, but it feels as though he's not very talkative to people he doesn't know. I did immediately even before I connected to him, I got like a T, Tom, T. So I don't know if this resonates with him or someone around him. This could be a middle name, last name, any of those type of things. I do feel as though he was a really big hard worker as well. In like his younger years, I just feel like he he kind of had like the man, like, gotta work, kind of do what you gotta do. He was also talking to me that he kind of was like a big foodie, or he just like enjoyed food, or was always asking about food, or like when dinner is, kind of a thing. And then when he was laughing, he had like a really big, deep, like belly laugh as well. And he just kind of feels very warmth. He feels like a very wise man. I feel as though I could sit there and talk to this man for hours and he would have like a lot of things to say. I feel as though he was wise. I don't know if this even pertains to like knowing like stories, like history kind of a thing, or just in general. He also showed me like a puzzle. So I don't know. Father's name is Tommy. That could be with the T. Oh, 100%. He also shows me kind of like a puzzle. So I don't know if he actually like enjoyed puzzles, whether that was like puzzles of like any type of puzzles. It could be word puzzles, it could be actual jigsaw puzzles, but it just seemed like he was into maybe things like that. But I do feel as though he was very wise in general. Like he was good at giving advice, if that makes sense. And I feel as though he has a common voice in general, so talking to him would be very easy. I feel as though he didn't display his emotions though. Huge history buff, yeah. But I do feel as though he wasn't very expressive when it came to like emotions, if that made sense. More so that was kind of like the old school way, like men don't show emotions kind of a thing. But I do feel he was a man of many emotions though. He may not just always kind of express to them, but you could tell he was definitely like a sensitive guy of sorts. And I feel so the closer you were to him, the more you would see that vulnerable side of him. I feel as though he like loved family. Like family was super important to him. He's also shown me like animals too, so I don't know if he enjoyed animals, had animals. Don't mind my nose, guys. Okay. It's starting to feel stuffy again. But would any of the other stuff all make sense? Spot on so far. Okay, perfect. So I do think we are with Grandpa then. So I will continue on. He's also talking about like grandpa shows. So I feel as though maybe even people talk about how he like kind of watches the same things over and over again when it comes to like TV and shows. I feel as though he might watch a lot of like educational shows towards like the like what is that, the like History Channel. But I feel as though he didn't just watch history stuff. I feel as though he would even watch things like educational wise of like how things are made, and he was just like really big about like that kind of stuff. Like he liked learning. I feel as though he liked kind of learning more about things, and I feel as though he found comfort in those kind of things as well. And I feel as though he's talking about like family gatherings. So I don't know if there was like a lot of family gatherings that you guys had, or he like just enjoyed like having birthdays and holidays and all those type of things too, and getting the family together. But I do feel as though family was very important to him, and he enjoyed things like this. Yeah, he showed me like the apple, which is like the educational thing, and he loved this TV. And he's also highlighting like a specific area. So is there a specific chair or a specific spot that was like grandpa's spot? And it was like even a funny thing if like the kids or like any of the kids in the family like tried to sit in his spot, and it was almost like no, that like everyone should know like that's his spot. He's also talking about his style. So he's talking about like his style never changes. Because he's kind of giving me the Adam Sandler reference, and for me that just means like someone who's just like so stuck in their style doesn't change. He had a rocking chair he loved. And it kind of just goes to show someone who just had the same type of style, didn't really change in that kind of essence. And I feel as though he's talking about a specific smell for him as well. So I don't know if there's a smell that like you could still smell, or a smell that you miss, or even like if someone still has his clothes, like the smell of his clothes. But I do feel as though like there's a scent for him as well. And I feel as though he really loved children as well. I just feel like in general, he just kind of, kids kind of gravitated towards him, if that makes sense. Or he just felt like children are just like joy in general. And I feel as though he's kind of talking about, where are you going with this, sir? I feel like he would mess with kids too. He's kind of talking about, this describes every grandfather. There's some specifics for Braley, but makes sense. I feel as though he's talking about actually specifically like messing with the kids at like functions. I feel as though he's kind of talking about like he had fun with messing with the kids, even making them like scream, like scary, like pretend to be scary kind of a thing. And I just feel like he kind of would just like mess with them in general. Does someone have his clothes still? Or someone have some of his belongings? It does feel as though like articles of clothing though. He loves scaring me and my cousins when we were little. And he's also showing me, he's showing me kind of like mountains. So I don't know if family has ever gone to the mountains, near mountains, or this could also mean like camping of some sort, like some sort of trips. It does feel as though like it's family oriented around these that he's showing. I don't know if that makes sense as well. But it does feel as though he was someone who would be considered maybe even outdoorsy. And I feel as though he's very nifty when it comes to like things. I feel as though he was kind of like a fixer-upper kind of. But he kind of just talks about like keeping himself busy a lot. I don't do questions, Dawson. I'm super sorry. Why he gave me a striped blue and white shirt when I was little? He got it when he was the only. Oh yeah, and that was like the third time he brought up clothes, so I was like, okay, I gotta bring it up. And okay, and yeah, the mountains. I don't know if that would make sense, but he was showing me like mountains of some sort. and just kind of show me like outdoorsy setting in general. And it feels as though he's kind of talking about in general, he had little projects to help stay busy, yeah. Okay, and earlier I said T for Tom, and you said Tom is your dad? He loved the mountains, okay. Okay. So this is super weird too. I don't know what he showed me train tracks. I don't know if he I don't get train tracks ever. It's almost as if maybe someone drawn towards trains or maybe even work on trains kind of a thing. Okay. It could be, it's just weird that he brought up dad again and then showed trains. Did dad and him ever have kind of like a debating kind of functional like relationship, like almost like a bickering kind of, or just like heavy debates on things, like in like a good way, like it's just like conversational, could like back and forth, like he's just showing like this back and forth like conversation, and for me it kind of feels like debating or like just like bickering back and forth, like a funny He was also showing me playing cards too. So I don't know if he played cards of some sort. Playing cards. He played a lot of cards, okay. Did he also either try to play cards with your dad, or talked about playing cards with your dad? Because I'm just trying to see where dad comes in all of this that he keeps talking about. Because again, he still directed me in that vicinity, like that area. Because like right now he's just showing me like random things. Yeah, okay. But he played cards himself. Is there another male that would be with him on the other side? Your uncle, okay. Would any of this pertain to the uncle that's on the other side as well? Because I do feel as though he's highlighting the person that's with him on the other side. And I feel as though there's big emotions around this person on the other side. Usually this means that they definitely passed before their time. And I feel as though there might even be something tragedy-wise on the emotion side with this person that's on the other side. There's just deep sadness. Yeah, Cancer, okay. And I feel as though this is like a really big heartache, because I feel as though I feel like a lot of things happened quickly too. It almost seems like things got really good, and then all of a sudden it was just like a big dive down like a big cliff, and it's just like things just got really worse, and then it was like boom. And it's almost like even like talking about it kind of gave me like the shakiness of the voice is kind of like super emotional. But I do feel as though there was still a big, I do feel as though he's talking about how, I think your uncle's stepping forward, and he's talking about how happy, this is going to sound really bad, but he's talking about how happy that it happened the way that it did, because I feel as though your uncle in general was a person that didn't want to sit there and be living life if he was going to be sick. He didn't want to live life if life was going to be hard in that sense. He didn't want to be living in a life to where he wasn't okay with living in his body, if that makes sense. And it's kind of as though he would be the kind of person in general who would like ask to be unplugged, if not saying that he actually was, but in general he was just the type of person that would sit there and be like, oh no, like he wouldn't want that for himself. He would never be the kind of person who would want to be sitting in a hospital bed all the time. Like, he just didn't like things like that. He liked having control of his body. Is living lively and happy. No one saw it. That's still the same comment. But he was just talking about in general, like he just although sad, happy in the way that it did, because he just wasn't a person who was okay with stuff like that, if that makes sense. More along the lines to where he just he would rather it be short and quick rather than long and torturous, if that makes sense. That's probably a better way for me to explain it. There's a lot of humor around Uncle. Very humorous. Even like jokester kind of humorous. I feel as though he would even say things that were like out of pocket, if that makes sense. I feel as though it's kind of like sometimes you'd be like, you would laugh at what he said, but then you'd be like, bro, like read the room. Like, I feel as though he just said things that were like so outlandish that it was just like nothing but funny. And I feel as though sometimes he didn't know if he was kind of crossing a line sometimes with his humor too, because it's almost as if like it treads into like the dark humor and then the like too soon comments with certain things as well. But I feel as though a lot of his life was directed towards like the humor and things, but I feel as though his personal life did he lead like either like a job that was like so serious to then it's like he had to be funny around things. It's like he used humor as like coping mechanisms as well. It's almost as if he even has this like identity, like, well, I'm the funny guy. I might not be the best looking guy, but I'm the funny guy. And like that just directs him towards his own like insecurities. Okay. Did anyone do any type... I'm being shown an arrow. And the only other time I was ever shown an arrow would be like for hunting of sorts. So I don't know if anyone on your side of the family does like any type of hunting. I didn't really get that vibe in the very beginning. But I know in the beginning I mentioned animals, but I thought it was more so on like a positive thing at animals, but I am being shown an arrow. So I don't know if this is hunting of some sorts. I'm starting to run out of room at the top. Okay, your paper is going to be all over the place. Huge hunters. Okay, that's where the animals was coming from. I wrote a lot of the uncle and the dad stuff at the top, and then I'm now going to continue on the bottom, if that makes sense for like your little notes. And it's funny because earlier I drew an arrow and I didn't even realize I drew it. So that's why they're bringing it up again. That's cool. Okay. And I just feel as though like your family, like a lot of people like got like along. The people who mattered got along in your family. And it's kind of like they're talking about like there may have been some people in your family that more considered themselves like more lone wolves. Would that make sense? I don't even know if that's what they said to me. It was like lone wolves. So I don't even know if that's like a real phrase for that. Okay. And I feel so, do you have a lot of men in your family versus females? Because they're kind of talking about this, and they're kind of talking about like how in general, like even you, I don't know if this made sense for you or will make sense for you, but about like being nervous about bringing a boy home kind of a thing. Almost like there's a lot of men in your family in general, and it's like a very protective manner when it comes to you. I feel as though they're very protective of you. And I know that's very vague, but it's almost like there's like a running joke with this, and that's why they're bringing it up. Because it feels as though like your family is a lot of... Okay. Okay, this is also going to be super weird. I don't know why this popped up. Would someone in your family be into like Harry Potter? Or even you? So protective. It was funny. Oh, that's cute. Because they're showing me the, what is the thing in Harry Potter? The golden snitch. I don't know why that would be coming up, or if you have something that's little that has wings, but it's showing me like this little circle and it has like really long wings or something on the other side, and for me that kind of looks like the golden snitch from like Harry Potter. Or is this like a flight attendant thingy? I don't know. Something like with that shape. OMG, him. My father and my sister loved Harry Potter. Okay, because he's bringing it up. And it's almost like it like flew by. So it was like I said, like a golden snitch. That's the name of it, right? I'm not wrong about that. Because he's definitely bringing that up. And he's kind of gravitating towards, I feel as though, he's talking about in general that they were into stuff like that. Like I feel as though they were like nerds. And like proud nerds. Okay. I said nerds and he was like, no, proud nerds. With certain things like that. Especially when it came to like likes. Like almost as if like the nerd lines of like movies, TV shows, like that genres and stuff like that. I feel like he's talking about it. I'm gonna write that but he said to write proud nerd, so I have to proud. It just feels like in general, like your family was just like a big joy. I feel like when you guys were all together, like it was very fun. I do feel as though there was a lot of banter in your family too, but like positive banter, like funny, like you can go back and forth with each other. And was Grandpa still with Grandma as well? Because he's showing like so much love towards like Grandma. And before I go any further, I'm gonna ask if they're still together. Interesting. Is this? No, sorry, but... Hi, Caitlin. No, I'm not doing Spirit Led. I'm actually reading for Bradley here. So sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out. No, it's okay. I asked if Grandmom and Grandpa were still together, even up towards the end. Because he was showing like big hearts around Grandmom and like a lot of love towards Grandmom. But before I moved forward with what I was saying, I just wanted to make sure that they were still together. Because there's like a really big respect about Grandmom, and I feel as though he talks about like how Grandmom did a lot, and I feel as though Grandmom had a lot on her plate, and he's kind of talking about in general like he had a lot of respect for Grandmom, and I feel as though she did a lot of things and was always busy. And I feel like he's talking about respect with her, but I don't feel like their relationship was always I feel as though there was a lot of resentment, if that makes sense. Like I feel as though maybe Grandmom thought like she did a lot of like, they got divorced but he remarried. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. But I feel as though he still had love towards her because, okay, yeah, and I feel as though it's because of like the caregiver portion of like she created the family, she like kind of directed the family, if that makes sense. But I feel as though she had a lot of resentment towards him, in a fact to where like I feel like she felt like she had a lot on her plate, and he was more laid back versus she was not laid back. And I feel as though she was very felt like she was overwhelmed and doing a lot more work with like certain things than he was. I'm trying to explain it well. It's not negative very much. It's more so like he's more like the fun parent. She was more of the duty parent, like actually had to do all the stuff for it. Very spot on. Great, because it's really hard to like kind of explain this. I can kind of just see it. It just sees like she had a lot of stuff going on. I feel like she resented him for kind of being like the fun parent and not having most like the responsibilities or like doing the household things. And I feel as though he remarried, but did he remarry someone who was more similar to him, if that makes sense? It's almost as if it's someone who was also laid back in a sense, or he didn't have to really fall into that like father dynamic, like taking all of these like things on, because it's almost as if she either didn't have kids or her kids were already older, if that makes sense. So then it's like I just feel as though they kind of just grew apart, if that makes sense. But he's showing so much love towards her, and I feel as though it's because he knew like how much of a great mother she was, and I feel as though she was a very mother who just like in general like did a lot, because she was like very controlling and like, you know, love her family, do things for her. Like she did everything for her family. It's almost as if sometimes she didn't even get time to herself, and I feel like he's apologizing for this as well. I feel as though he's apologizing for maybe not stepping up in the ways that she wanted him to, but I feel as though he it's almost as if he didn't really truly know, like, why she was always so upset with him. It just felt like she was always angry with him, if this makes sense. Very laid back, yeah. He's kind of talking in general that, like, it's almost as if, I think while he was still here, he seen what Grandma was doing as, like, bickering or nagging. And I feel as though now, seeing it on the other side, he kind of sees it as, it was just like a cry for help. It was just, she wanted him to do things that he wouldn't automatically do, if that makes sense. It's like she kind of wishes that he put forth the effort without having to be told so. And then he kind of was just like, well, I don't know, I didn't know what she wanted from me, kind of a thing. And I feel as though even when things got better and the kids got older, I feel as though there was just so much resentment that there was just, it was too hard to kind of heal that. So I feel as though that's why they kind of went their separate ways. And I feel as though he really apologizes, because I feel as though he didn't really truly understand how overwhelmed she actually felt. Love Zarya, so sassy, yeah. I feel as though he kind of does talk about how he wishes he did step up in a lot of ways, because I feel as though she did have a lot on her plate, and I feel as though this tied into, like, why she was so angry towards him. But I feel like in general, he just, you know, they just grew apart. But, you know, he, rest assured, he still had so much respect for her and so much love for her. Because he was a good man. He was a good man. He had his faults, but he was a very good man. He was a very good father. He was a very great grandfather. And it just in general, he just has like a lot of, I don't know, I just feel like, did he even like bicker with her even after they had separated? Like, I don't know, he's kind of shown like even family functions to where like they may have to be in the same room as one another, and it was just kind of like making fun of her, or like still bickering with her. Kind of like the enjoyment of like pissing her off. Yeah. And it just really goes to show to where like sometimes you wish you knew 100% people's intentions, if that makes sense. And he just kind of explained it as like he just really didn't understand why she had as much anger that she did towards him, but he sees now that it was just that it was kind of like more cries for help. It's just the way she went about it, he didn't understand what it was. But he's such a good man that I feel as though if he truly knew what she needed from him, he would have tried his best to do so, if that makes sense. But yeah, he's talking about like even like a bickering of some sort too. But he's awesome. Your family seems very awesome. It seems like a very happy, funny family to be around. 100%, yeah. I don't have any more room to write down anyway, but he is starting to kind of pull away, so I'm kind of just going to end this with like a little message. I feel as though he's talking about, what do you have going on here, Braylee? Have you just recently either got really severe with it or have gotten a lot more anxiety recently? He's kind of showing me like anxiety and like maybe even fears. I feel as though maybe things are changing right now for you. Or it just feels like there's a lot of things out of your control. Okay. And I feel as though the more you lose your sense of control, the more anxiety you're starting to, I think that this is also tying into like your own like confidence as well. I feel as though this is kind of starting to affect your confidence in yourself. And I feel as though he kind of always told you, like, how bright and beautiful you were. And I feel as though he's just trying to reiterate that and kind of, like, trying to drill that into your head. But I do feel as though, are you a people pleaser? Because it's almost as if he's trying to talk about, like, how you're a people pleaser. And, yeah. I feel as though you are directing too much of your energy to those who would not be doing the same thing in return. Let me know if that makes sense. Let me explain it a little better. It's almost as if you are going out of your way to do things for other people who, if roles were reversed, they would not be doing the same for you. I think that there are some things that are being left unsaid, and I feel as though they're being left unsaid because of the fear of how someone's going to take it, the fear of how people are going to see you, if that makes sense as well, and hurt other people's feelings. I feel as though someone else's negative energy is starting to drain onto you because of they're around you. I feel as though this could be even like a close friend as well. And it's almost like you have this question like, well, what am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my own life? What am I doing here? And again, that loss of like self-control is kind of dribbling into like your anxiety, your self-anxiety, or your self-worth, your confidence. And I think he's kind of saying you need to take a step back and you need to kind of see the bigger picture of what's going on around you. And I think he's starting to say that you kind of need to kind of get your thoughts together and kind of realize, like, what do I need to be doing for myself? Is it a smart decision to keep certain people around me or keep pleasing other people before I do things for myself? It's kind of like you need to do a little more self-care. Okay. And I feel as though it's not that this person is a bad person in general. I feel as though they have a lot going on themselves, but I feel as though they themselves aren't taking care of it the right way, and I feel as though it's just starting to slowly drain you. And I also feel, like I said earlier, I feel like there's things that you wish you could say to this person, or advice that you, like, I feel as though you have, like, if someone were to like, if this person asked you advice or asked you, it's almost as if you're scared to tell them the truth because it might not be something that they want to hear, if that makes sense. And the people pleaser in you would rather you kind of tell a white lie and tell them the opposite of what they need to hear, only because you're afraid of how they would truly, I guess, handle your truthfulness, if that makes sense. And again, I feel as though the people around you, their stress is starting to become your stress, because I feel as though you're an empathetic person, and I feel as though you're constantly trying to help people. And I feel as though he's talking about, like, you know, if it's starting to affect you and yourself and your health and your well-being, then sometimes taking a step back might be the hardest thing for you as a person, but it might be the best thing for you, because I feel as though you're so empathetic to where it's now starting to take you down. It's starting to make you have anxiety. It's starting to affect you mentally. And I feel as though you have a lot of other things that are on your plate and things that you need to do, and that sometimes these people might be holding you back. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope that helped too. It's almost like he's talking about, like, you know what he would be saying about this, because I feel as though he was definitely someone who would constantly give advice in general. And I feel as though he's talking about that's why you wanted to talk to him, or there's certain reasons you want to talk to him, and you already know what he would say. It's basically, he's saying that you definitely already have the brains yourself. I feel as though you're very intelligent yourself. And I feel as though you know the answers, you just don't want to accept the answers. Only because again, you put others ahead of yourself. But I hope you enjoyed talking to Grandpa. He had lots to say. I started running out of room. I had to draw an arrow as to where the rest of the stuff went. But like I tell everyone, I'm going to leave his love and light with you. We are ending on 333. I'll take that as a sign as well. There's angel numbers, guys. My YT page, I'll upload my entire live. All my TikTok lives always go on my YT page. It's the same as my TikTok handle here, Spirits with Sky with 2 Ys. So you can always go there to recall any information in case you forget. I also will send this to you in your direct messages. If for some reason your direct messages won't let me send a picture, because some people's settings are different, I will just ask for your email and I will send it to your email instead. If you wouldn't mind, I do have a feedback page pinned on my profile if you want to leave any feedback from your reading today as well. Also, guys, I've been trying to upload videos to my profile. Otherwise, it just kind of gives more, I guess, momentum to get people to join our lives. But I did finally upload 2 videos that explain my journey and how I got here, because a lot of you were asking in my lives, and it's just such a really long story. Oh, thank you, Braylee. No, you're welcome. Listen, I didn't do any of the work. Grandpa and Uncle did all of the work. They did all of it. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions? Again, I don't think that I ignore you when I do these readings. If you guys have been like commenting or asking questions in the chat, I kind of just really focus on my reading out of respect of my sitter and their loved ones on the other side. I also talk a lot and write things down, so I don't always see anything. So if you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not. If you have any questions and I haven't been able to answer them, go ahead and send me a message or send me an email. My email is spiritswithsky with 2 Ys at gmail. It's the same thing as my handle. I use the same handle for everything because it just makes things that much easier. Am I going to do another reading? So unfortunately, I am not going to do another reading. I do have to wake up my son. He's definitely been napping for too long. And I think my husband might have fell asleep because he did not wake him up already. But I can answer a couple of questions. I have 5 minutes, and I just can't give only a person 5 minutes in a little mini read. I talk too much for mini reads, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to answer. I know, I'm sorry, Kelly, but I will be on, I'm going to be on hopefully Tuesday and Thursday this week, after 6, usually around like 6:15, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, I was sick last week, so I did not get to go on live last week. And I'm not normally on Sundays. It's always weird if I go on weekends. Usually it's because got prepared for like a reading or something and it didn't happen. So now I just kind of hop on here. How often do you go live? I really want to connect with my husband. So I go on live on... Let me rephrase that. I try to go live Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do work full-time, and I am a full-time mom to an almost 2-year-old. Who, let me say, is a very clingy 2-year-old. He's a mama's boy for sure, and I have to kind of sneak away to do these. I have to like hide myself in my bedroom while my husband tries to distract him. Sometimes you guys even in my lives hear him screaming for me at my door when he realizes I'm in here. So I do try my best. I do try to set at least Tuesdays and Thursdays to the side, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I do have private readings. You guys can feel free to reach out to me for private readings. I usually do those on the weekend. Household is very lively. My son runs our household. It is very lively. But he's such a mama's boy. He's such a sweetheart. He is obsessed with me. But that does mean that he is my little leech. So he's attached to my hip, and the past couple of days with him not feeling so well has made it 10 times worse. I'm telling you guys, out of desperate measures, I've had to hold him while I've gone to the bathroom because I've had to go so bad, but he refused to let go of me. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. It just happens, guys. Reading. So without saying, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say on here. I don't even know. I'm nervous to even say it if I get like banned or anything. 50. But I'm very, what's the word? Flexible with stuff. Go ahead. You can message me on here if you want to. I'm going to send you directly to my email anyway. Again, that's spiritswithsky with 2 Y's at Gmail. But guys, today's 2 reads were very nice. I did have a lot of fun going on today. I'm not normally on a Sunday, guys. It's really weird. But let's see. Do you do individual readings? Yeah, so that's my private readings. Again, I do those on the weekends. Just mind everyone, I do use Zoom. Because I don't give my phone number out to people. Also, I will send people to my email, and I do them on weekends. Again, I'm Eastern Standard Time. There's been a few times where people have not joined on to a Zoom and they forgot to realize like they had a different time zone than me. So we've had to reschedule, and then all is well in the end. That's okay, Nicole. That's totally fine. Again, I wasn't supposed to go on today anyway. I just kind of did, because I had nothing else to do. But, alright guys, so I'm actually going to head off now. I gotta wake up my son. He has been sleeping for a little too long. Can you do one now? Private Zoom. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do one right now. I do believe my next availability is, I think, the last week of March for private readings. So go ahead and send me a message, and obviously I always say when my next available is, and then we kind of plan accordingly there, but I do try to leave just Saturday and Sundays for that. I do readings after 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yes, thank you so much, Brandy. Have a beautiful day. You too, Nicole. But Christine, go ahead and message me if you do want a private reading. Of course, Braylee, absolutely. And your grandpa was so sweet. So was your uncle. He was funny. He was very funny. But I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much, guys. It was cool hanging with you all on a Sunday. Never usually happens. But go ahead and send follows if you want to see my live again. I believe the next time I'll be on is Tuesday. Probably 6:15, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll try to remember to make like a